Hey everyone, Adam here. My buddy Matt and I did a few sets on May 26th, a couple weeks ago, and here is the first set. This is 8-ball, race to 7. I am giving him 4 games on the wire. So let's hop over to the table and see how things progress here. Somehow I won the coin flip and I'm breaking here. I know, it amazes even myself. Moving over to the side, side ball break has been what I've been going with lately. And naturally we start out with a dry break. Now you notice from the last set of videos, the rack was a little tilted. This one was tilted because I hit it that way, but we do have a white line. I managed to take all of 10 minutes to get that done. So now we have a line on the table that is drawn using a laser level and on a white charcoal pencil. And Matt's going to start things off here. I think I like solids a little bit better here because of the 6 and the 11 up in the upper right corner. The 7 is kind of goofy, but it does go in the upper left and the lower right, and probably goes on the left side if you can get over there. I don't think it goes in the right side. So I think he's taking the right shot here if he's looking at the 1 ball. Has to jack over the 2 ball. Now we always play some warm-up games, so we're not coming in completely cold. Although I do think we went out to lunch and had some barbecue. Standard disclaimers apply. He didn't really want to hit the 9. I don't think he could have avoided it. Would have been nice if he hit off more of our left side of the 9 and spun more up, maybe to get on the 4. But he has either the 3 or the 2 in the side here. If he has a 2 in the side, he might be able to float all the way up for the 5. Let's see what he does here. You notice I have a new LED scoreboard. I think you can read it decently. It's over on Matt's table there. And yeah, he managed to float over the 5, but he got caught out by the point on the side pocket, and it's my shot after I finish doing whatever I'm doing on my phone. Here, I don't think the 11 goes past the 6. And the 14's goofy because it doesn't have a pocket up there. I can take the 13 in the side, that's the purple. Or I can take the 15, and it looks like I'm taking or I can maybe even take the 12, which is the pink. Or the 10. I'm shooting one of these balls. 12 it is. Came up pretty decent. I think I want to take the 9 here because if I take the 10, I'm going to be headed right into the 15. Well, I don't really want to do that. I want to take the 9. If I can get back to above the 10 and the 15, that'd be best. Kind of just like that. Really, really, really close to the 10 there, but it's a pretty good angle. A couple different ways to play this. Could take the 10, play the 15 on the right side. Could take the 10 and come back up the same way. I could take the 15 first. I think what I'm trying to do here is take the 15 and hit the 7 on the way out. And I kind of poked at it, and I pointing that I wanted to hit the 7, but I hit the 2 instead. If I would hit the 7, I would have been perfect on the 13 right there, because that would open that nicely up. And then I could probably play the 13 and break out the 11 up there. Now I'm facing away from the 11 and the 14. Don't really have a shot on either of those. I have to try to get on, make the 13 on the side, try to get on the 10 to be able to come back. And I hit everything. Didn't necessarily want to do that. If I take the 10 in the lower left here, basically just go right at the 7 with the cue ball, I should have a good angle on the 14 to hopefully be able to break out that 11. At least I hope that's what my plan is. There are a lot of chances I could get, there are chances I could get stuck behind the 7 here, but I think it's a good risk to take. And I overhit it and didn't really play it the way I was thinking. I might have been leaving myself for the 14 off the rail off the 6, which would naturally free up the 11. Kind of left this wide open for Matt here. If you can get at the 6 right now, I like taking the 6 and then the 7 and then the 5 and then coming out for these 3, and then the 8 goes in the upper right corner once the 6 is out of the way. If you can't get after the 6, I think I like the 3 best. Although the 3 past the 4 might be a little dicey. I think he's still thinking about things, and I've kind of hammered into his head not to go down on a shot without a plan. I see a lot of people. That's not bad. That frees up the pocket. He has the 5. He can come out to middle of the table or so for the 3 or the 2 or the 4 for that matter. Or just spin it over to the left side rail and go for the 4 next. A lot of possibilities here. Or underhit it. And leave me not in a really good spot. I don't know if I can hit the 14 or the 11 here. Yeah, it doesn't look like I can. I have to go for the 10 in the lower right pocket. Position should be pretty natural. Just straight top, come up off the left side rail and back out. You know, back past the 3 ball. Just like that, unless I go right into the 3 ball, in which case I've completely ducked myself on everything. I think I put too much would have been right spin on that, and I should have put just straight top. I tend to put running English on a lot of those types of shots to make the angles more natural, or make the making of the ball more natural. Here I'm basically just taking a stab at the 11. I want to go side rail, bottom rail, and then into the 11 and out, which I kind of did, but I kind of double hit it. Can't leave him at too many chances here. Here I think I take the 5 and I just stun it down the rail towards the 4. You really don't want it to hit the rail. You kind of want to draw it and have it just float up against it. He went the other way, which is, I mean, that's okay. He kind of hit a ball and got now he's goofy on both the 3 and the 2. Fortunately, he has a 7 to bail him out. But now he has to come back for the 2 in the side. Shot on the 3 is not really there. It's still fine. A lot of options in 8 ball, and if he didn't have the 7, he'd be a little bit tougher spot, but I think he'd still be fine. Here you want to just draw it back. Yeah, a little bit. I'd like to see a little bit more forceful draw and try to get a better angle on the 2. Come up on the right side between, somewhere between, like, right in between the first and second diamonds below the side pocket. Here he's falling a little funny because he either has to take the 2 all the way down past the 4, in which the case the side pocket comes into play for the scratch, the 2 into the side, which sends the cue ball flying around, the 3 in the side, which sends the cue ball back around behind the 14 and 11. I think he's going right at the 4 ball. Probably the best decision here. He can play a little bit of upper left and just kind of spin back around just like that, except it didn't fall. Now here, these 2 stripes are sitting kind of goofy. I have to take the 14 because if I take the 11, the cue ball is going right into the 14 and pushing it up to that top rail, and I could scratch off of it. If I take the 14, I have to try to come 2 rails on the top side of the 3 so I can play the 11 in the upper right. So I'm lamenting my woes to Matt here. This is like max left spin, basically. It's not an easy shot, not a one that you want to take when you have a lot of nerves. I go right into the 3, which is basically perfect. And I can play this and the 8 ball both in the upper left, or upper right, sorry. Kind of one rail back out. And I'm on the board. 4-1, Matt's still in the lead with the spot. Last week we did a race to 9, thought that was a little bit too long, so we decided to do a race to 7, and what's funny is this will be about the same amount of time. Another dry break. I'm trying to hone in my break on a number of different tables. I play on 7-foot diamonds, I play on 8.5 foot, or pro 8-foot Brunswick Gold Crowns, I play on 9-foot Brunswick Gold Crowns. This table here is an 8-foot Brunswick Glenwood with the pockets redone and cut to be the same specs as Diamond Pro Cuts. So they're 4.5-inch sides, 5-inch, or 4.5-inch corners, 5-inch sides, and diamond rubber, the same, basically the same as a Blue Label Diamond 7-foot table, only it's an 8-foot table. And of course the slate bed is not cut the same, it's cut Brunswick style. Matt's looking at a kind of a mess here. Really, the only ball to start with is the 6 ball. Suppose you could take the 10 and cut it, but your cue ball is going to go, probably going to glance off the 14 and put that in a worse spot and then head up table. I think that's what he's looking at anyway. I think he's caught with the short cue, so he has to take the short cue on kind of a touchy shot. The 6 is not a gimme by any means, so I can understand why he doesn't want to take it. Solids are the better choice here. If if your cue ball is in the middle of the table, you'd be choosing solids all day long. He actually hit the, never mind. I was gonna say he hit the 14 in a good spot, but it bounced off that rail pretty hard. And now it's in a tough spot. You can get to it off the 12, you can maybe get to it off the 15, maybe even off the 9, but it's in a weird spot here. He's just gonna have to take this 13. It's gonna be a tough reach. I don't know if you can get to it. I don't know if he'd be able to put enough lower right on it to come into the 11. He's gonna go get the Shane Van Boning extension. He's playing with the Q-Tech Shane Van Boning cue. I don't know what his break cue is. Mine are all Predators. I did a What's in the Bag video a while back. I should probably do a new one because I have a new bag, some new cues, and too many shafts and some other things. So yeah, this is really weird. I would really want to try to kill this with a lot of draw and right and try to get the 11 out of there, but it depends on how it hits off that rail. I may bounce well above it, maybe not even hit the 1. Gotta kind of pinch draw this. I don't even think he didn't even try. But he did come all the way down the table into a weird spot. He has the 9. The 9 is kind of deceiving because it looks like you can get into the 11, but you can't. You're gonna end up going to the left of the 1 here. What he could do is play the cue ball just north of the 2, and then take the 12 on the left side, come around 2 rails into the 11. He's gonna have to deal with the 11 at some point. Yeah, see what I mean about going to the other side of the 1, and now he's not on the right angle to be able to get back for the 11 either. The 11 ball is going to be a problem for him for sure. At this point, he should probably take. I don't know what he's doing over there. If he's, oh, I think he knocked a case over that I had laying against the wall. But he should probably float this 12 in the side, and then come below the 14 to play the 14 on the right side. He still has no shot on the 11. He's going to almost have to try to go at the 11 off the 14, which is not going to be good, or just play for the 15 to come back and bank the 11. This is like 8 ball. You get yourself in trouble and you can't get back to your problem balls. You really want to take the problem balls out as soon as possible. He didn't really have a choice based on how the rack was laid out. I think that's what he was trying to do, but he way underhit it. So now he's stuck with 2 problem balls, but he only has 1 ball to deal with it. So he's really going to try to play this 15 and lower right and then try to come right into the 5 ball. I think you got to come into the 5 solid so that knocks the 14 up. Whereas if you come right into the 5-14 and hit them both, or hit just the 14 goes over and you can't make it. This is a tough shot. This is... Yeah, and he overcut it, which meant he went the wrong way into the... Coming back into the 5, he went forward down table instead of up table, from our point of view. This table's kind of goofy. The 1 is in a weird spot because of the 11. I can get to the 1 off the 7 pretty easily. The first shot here is kind of nervy because it's either the 3 on the side or the 6. I think I like the 6 better. I don't really like the 4 right here because there's no way, it's harder to get a leave. Yeah, like if I took the 4 right there, it's the easiest shot to make, but I can't get any better than I was already on the 3 or the 6. Unless I draw straight back, and then that's really touchy. So I might as well just leave that, try to get on it on the left rail so I can play it down natural angle. So here I'm going to try to clip the 11 on the way out. I did. Not exactly the way I wanted it to, but now I have that 4 ball as kind of an insurance ball. I mean, I still have the 2 on the side, but 4 ball now is the easiest. Play this just a little bit rail first and some left spin. I should be able to come down around back to the middle of the table. Don't want to really hit the 15 and that. Didn't want to hit the 3 either, but that is going to work. I still have a big problem with the 5. If I remember this shot correctly, this is over a week ago, or exactly a week ago. I'm going to try something kind of crazy here. I'm going to try playing the 3 on the side and drawing off the 2, 1 rail behind the 5 to play the 5 on the right side. Kind of weird shot because I have to bridge around the 5 or over it. Yeah. I have to hit the 2 pretty good. And I got the draw that I wanted, but it didn't go... Or I got the angle that I wanted, I didn't get the draw, so it just went straight across and scratched. A match to do 14, 15, 11, 8 here. You want to basically play this and just get right in line with the middle of the table. Maybe a little further over to the right from our view. And he poked at that a little bit and then just barely missed the side. I don't know if he stood up on that one or more focused. Obviously more focused on the cue ball, which he followed a little bit too much too. Now granted, he could take the 11 and then come back on the 15. It's not that big of a deal, but... I played as much cue ball as I could there because I was on the 14, so I didn't really have a way to get... I wanted lower right on that, but because of the 14, I had to play actually a little bit on the left side of the cue ball. So now I can just play a stop shot here. I don't want to really do too much, or maybe I do. That's actually not bad, and then I can just stun over again to play the 8 in the same pocket. The 2's going in here. The danger there, looking back, is I didn't want to get on the 15, so I had to bridge over it. That one's like a stun draw where you saw the angle get killed off by the 2. Tangent line's going to send it right into the corner pocket. You just got to cut off that line, have it come out 1 rail, and on the board again, 4-2. What I should do here is I had 2 breaks that didn't work. I should move to the other side of the table. Instead, I just nail the break the way it's supposed to be, making the corner ball on the far left and kind of opening things up pretty nicely. The 9 is an issue for stripes. The 11-3 is kind of an issue for both. I don't know if the 3 goes past the 10 in the lower right corner. If it does, then solids looks better. I don't really have an opening shot on solids unless the 4 goes past the 5. It's hard to tell from this angle. I could look over here, but that doesn't really help. think what I like here is, yeah, okay, I remember this now. I'm taking the 1 because I can break out. I can kind of just stop shot and leave myself the 5 or come back for the 7. Instead, I overcut it and the table's still open. We'll see if that 3-ball went or not. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It looks like I didn't really look at that. I just kind of went down the shot. I usually sight the angle, and I sight the angle for the next ball, and I kind of just went down on the shot and shot it. So wouldn't call that the greatest execution I've ever done. Matt's shooting the 3 here, so I'm assuming it goes. He can follow over for the 2 in the lower left. Or he can play a bank shot off the 10. The table is still open. And 1 by 1, stripes are starting to look better, but I think I'm still going for solids here. The 9-ball is still in a goofy spot. It does not really go in the lower or in the right middle. It has to go all the way up in the upper left. And here, if I can do this, I can get on the 1 and then come back for the 5 later. And I'm getting my extension out because this is a longer reach. I don't know if I want to leave this for the 7 on the left side or not, or leave it for the 4. I think I have to leave it for the 7. Problem is now is getting back onto a ball because the 14 is going to block a lot of things. You can tell the way I'm pausing is I'm not liking where things are looking, how to get back on the 5, how to get, or on the 4 from here. I should probably follow it, play it so I can play the 4 past, the cue ball past the 8 into the 4. Like that. I went a little too far, unless I was playing for the 5. Yeah, the position window is tight. I'm playing the 4. Well, maybe I am playing for the 4. Okay, then in that case, I went a little bit too far. But that again, that position window is tight because you want to make sure I cleared the 8 for sure. And pink. That was nice, but dangerous. Ideally, I wanted to get on the bottom, below the 5 ball, coming back on that. Now there I underhit it. I really wanted to come back off the rail and play the 8 in the right middle, right side, right center, whatever you want to call it. And I'm still doing that, but the cut is now much more extreme than it was. Not a problem. And that was a break, miss, and run out. And I got the corner ball, but I also got the cue ball to follow it right in. Not a great result. Giving up ball in hand is never good. And at the level we're playing at, most players should be able to run out given ball in hand. I'd say probably 7 out of 10 giving a ball in hand off the break, they should be able to run out. 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, something like that. I think you want to go for stripes here. I think if you take the 15, use the 5 ball as a stopper, you could play the 10 and then come back, figure out what you want to do from there. I think that would be the best 2 to start with. Fourteen's kind of an issue, but you can always get to that on the lower side. Yeah, I think he's getting there. Number of different ways you can play this. I like to basically draw it off the bottom half of the 5. kind of like that, just a little bit more. It keeps the cue ball about 6 inches closer to the ball. If you do that, like kind of stun draw, it's still hitting the 5 and it's still kind of pushing to the right. Now here he's on a goofy angle on the 10 where he can't just draw it straight back because it's going to be going up table. So ideally he would want a straight in shot so he could draw straight back to the rail and then play the 14 and then play the rest. But he's kind of at a goofy spot. The 14 is, you can get to the 14 from the top side of it. The 7 isn't blocking it. You got to get a little bit tighter position on it. I think we talked about this, about him going for the 14 and then worrying about the 10 ball later. The problem is when you worry about the 10 ball later is you got to get to it later. Or like really with the 2 solids blocking it, you really have to go for it here, I think. And at the time I didn't dislike his decision, but when I'm looking at this from this side of the table, it's a much tougher ball to get on. So basically now you're looking at like 12, 11, 13, having to come back to the 10, having to come back for the 8. And that's just a little bit too much cue ball travel. I think what I would have done there is taken the 10, bounced off one rail to either the 13 or the 12, and then gotten on the 14 down in the lower corner. I know there was an issue about getting off the 14 to get another shot, but I'm looking at it from this side, and maybe it was a little bit more extreme than it looks, because I do remember this shot, but I think leaving the 10 stranded there is asking for trouble. Now you could go to it here as well, but you're kind of on a goofy angle. You got a tight position window, and then you have to get back up for the 11. So the obvious shot here is taking the 11. You kind of want to go right between the 8 and the 1 and leave on the top side of the pocket line. So if you draw a line, it's basically going to be straight across the table between the 13 and the right side pocket. You want to be on the top side of that line so you can draw or follow over depending on how you land for the 10 ball. I think he went for the 10 ball there. And because he went too far, now he's in trouble. So now if he can even get at the 13, which I think the 6 is blocking it off, he can't really get back on the 10. Now he doesn't really have a shot in the 10. I think he's going to try cutting it, which is kind of an extreme cut, which can be made, but then you don't have no idea where your cue ball is going. Because it could be going into the 6, and then who knows? Because it's going to be coming out hot. And yeah, this is kind of rough. Yeah, Matt, in fact, I know Matt's going to be watching these, so I leave him little messages in here. Matt, when looking back at this, I think you need to go for the 10 before the 14. Yeah, that was a tough cut. I mean, cue ball's flying around. He made one of mine. He didn't have a shot on the 13 afterwards, but not much you can really do there. It's once you're in that spot where you have to shoot the 10 like that, you just kind of shoot and hope it works. So here I got to shoot the 7 first. There's a couple different ways I could either kind of stun through in between like the 8 and the 4 and play the 4 on the same side. I can do that. Actually, I like that a lot. Just play right into the 4 or right into the 13 and have, almost straight in on the 4. And now I can do kind of whatever I want with the cue ball for these other 3 balls. Or I can do that. I think I needed to get a little bit further down. I don't think I have the 2 or the 6. So if I remember the shot right, my plan here is to play the 2 into the 6. I'm calling the 6 ball, but I'm more playing the cue ball, wanting to get it down like middle of the table on the Brunswick logo up top. I mean, the combo isn't on. It looks like it might be closer to on, but it really isn't. Or I'm coming around. And I barely missed the 6. Oh, okay. I'm pointing where okay, so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to bring the cue ball behind the 8 so he didn't have the 13 because the 10 was kind of blocked anyway. And then if I made the 6, I still had a shot that I could get my, I had a ball I could hit. Didn't really have a shot. I wasn't really expecting to make the 6 there. Was more expecting to get the cue ball, but I missed it by, what, about 4 feet? That wasn't great. I left him pretty good on the 13, and I think all he has to do is follow it to get the 10 in the same pocket. Angles are kind of deceiving here for me. Oh, okay, he didn't have that angle. I think he was trying too much to go at the 10 ball there. Got to make sure you make the ball first. Here I'm playing the 1-6, but I'm leaving myself on the 2 ball in case the 1 follows the 6 in. Kind of expecting the 1 to go above the 6. But yeah, just in case it goes in, I still have the 2 ball there. Normally I like taking the 1 first, but the 2 with the 10 there is harder to get a leave off the 8 or back onto the 8. So I'm just kind of playing this. I want to hit the 10. I spun out on purpose to make sure I got far enough away that I had something I could do with the 1 here. What I should do is hit about a half ball hit on the left side of the 1, or maybe I'm just drawing straight back. I think I'm drawing straight back. Yeah. If you can get those shots where you don't have to hit the rails, it's much easier because the rails are finicky and sometimes hard to control there. And here is good enough of a shot as any. All right, and I have closed the gap. We are now tied at 4. I hit the wrong button on the scoreboard there. And I'm back to break and dry. I get very stubborn on the breaks where I feel more comfortable on one side or the other. And it's not necessarily one side or the other. It's just whatever I'm feeling at the moment. And apparently I didn't feel... I had 2 breaks in a row. I made a ball. 2 breaks, now 3 that I didn't. So I think I'm just being stubborn, thinking, just keep breaking the same way. I do tend to have spots I like. If I'm breaking from the middle and 8 ball, which I'm not doing anymore really, I like the left to center as I'm facing the rack. If I break a 9 ball, I like far right side. 8 ball, I've been going back and forth. For the second ball break, I've been going back and forth, but I'm a little bit more comfortable on the left side than the right. All that really means I need to fix that. So stripes here are wide open. The only real issue is getting on the 10 for the lower left corner. He punched it out a little bit off the 1. I think he can play it in the left or in the right side. In fact, I kind of like that. Just playing in the right side. If he can get off the, if he can hit the 1 and use that as a stopper, great. Otherwise, kind of pinch draw it and leave for the 9 ball next, or even the 12. I know the side pockets on this table tend to get in everyone's heads because they are, I mean, they're 5-inch side pockets, but they're tight and they're pointy. So it's, that was pretty good if he can get on the, if he is on the 12 right now, that's really good. So here I kind of like to play the 12, keep the same angle, play the 11 on the side, then go for the 13, then the 10, then the 15, and then 8. You get that all? Yeah, he came back too far. I would have liked to hold that line and play the 11. You know, the 11 leads to the 13, which is the purple stripe down here on the right by the 6. And if you just hold that line off the 12, basically just shoot it in. Not that hard, so it bounces off the rail a little bit. You just keep that same line, play the 11. And then 11 leads to the 13, leads to the 10, leads to the 15, and then you have to work a little bit to get on the 8, but not too much. Here he's just playing the same pattern, and he'll have to do the 11 later. Had to pause there for a second, had to run out of the room. Matt, I noticed you're getting a little pokey at stop shots. You should be able to play that with a nice smooth stroke and just more draw. Came over for this really nicely. The 11 is a little bit of an issue, but I think if he takes it now and doesn't hit the 8, so basically just straight top on this, cuts it, has a kind of a big pocket with the 7, but it'll come out right for the 15 and the 8 in that side. But yeah, going back to what I was saying before, stop shots, a lot of people play middle ball and hit it hard, and really all you have to do is make sure the ball stops rotating when it hits the object ball. The cue ball, make sure the cue ball stops rotating when it hits the object ball. So you can play a long table stop shot with a lot of draw and a smooth stroke. Is it going to get there? Is it going to get there? It got there. So here, it was a touchy shot. Pocket speed helped him. He didn't hit the 7. So you actually could have hit it a little bit more into the rail, and the 7 would have helped out. Here, I think you just draw back a little bit past the 2. If you're not feeling comfortable with the draw, you can just stop it there. I'd worry that if you try to stop it, it floats over on top of the 2. You don't want to shoot over the 2 is the main goal. So yeah, basically just like that. Maybe a little fast on the follow through, but definitely works. And that was a dry break by me and a run out by Matt. Matt, very nicely done. Got out of position once or twice, but he had a good fallback plan and was able to get back on it. So Matt's up 5-4 here. This is going to be one of those racks. Getting the template out, we're using the Teom Max Rack. Very nice templates, and they're 3 for $25. So I got 3 of the 8-ball ones. You can do 3 of the 8-ball ones, 3 of the 9 and 10-ball ones. The 8-ball ones you can use for any game. 9 and 10-ball ones are smaller, but you could still play 9-ball on the 8-ball one just fine. Here I'm trying to figure out what I could throw my arms around and make a big scene out of it. I think I like solids better. The 5-ball is the biggest problem. The 4-ball in the middle of the table is also a problem. I kind of wanted to hit the 8 there, I think. Although I'm going to the 3 so pretty fast, so maybe I didn't want to. Maybe that was what my plan was. And here, the 8's right in the way. Maybe I should have gone into the 8 there. Because the 1-ball is kind of a key ball to try to get everything broken out. You can either go left or right. I think I'm pretty straight on it, so I don't think I can do much. I don't know what kind of stuff I got lined up here. Oh, I'm playing it safe here is what I'm doing. And that worked out really well. I was trying to do basically a kick and stick on the 5 to have it come back, rail first into the 5, purple 5, and then have it come back on the 10. The 5 went down to the rail and knocked the 14 out of the way. I think he does have the 15, but I think the 1 then came up and blocked the 10. So I must not have the 1 at all, or it was so straight that I couldn't have done anything at all with it. So I decided to just play safe there. And if you get the 15 here, the question is, does the 10 pass the 8 in the left side? If you are where the 9-ball is right now. I don't think it does. If it did, you could play the 15, plan to play a stop shot on the 9, try to get straight on the 9, and then play the 10 in the side and go into those stripes and break them out. Or maybe you don't even have to. He overcut this, but he gave me the 6. Yeah, looking at stripes, I think things are pretty well open there. You can get on the 13 to break the 11 into the 4, and then everything kind of opens up from there. So I'm playing the 6. I don't have a plan for the 4 yet. Just kind of picking off one ball at a time here. Now I can go to the 5. I can go to the... I think I can go to the 2 in the right side and break the 4 out from there. I'm also looking at... There is a little window in there to be able to play the 4, but it's not pleasant. Not something I would want to take. Might be coming back here. Yeah. So it looks like I didn't have the 2 in the side, so I got this. And the cue ball is going to be going right into like the 13, it looks like here. Which doesn't really do a whole lot. Okay, I must have not liked the angle that the 1 had, so I'm playing, just drew it back to get the 2, and now the 2 definitely goes into the 13. It could open up the 4 nicely. I also could have no shot after this. Yeah, that was weird. I drew off the 4, or I drew off the 13, thinking I would hit the 4 out of there. I didn't want to scratch. I shouldn't have drawn. I have no idea what I did there, really. Here I'm looking at this weird shot. If I can kick into the top side of the 4, there's a 3% chance that the 4 goes in the lower right corner. But I have to hit the 4 first, which I did not. I hit the 11 first. So giving ball in hand to Matt. I am in 1 ball hell here. Matt should... Now granted, the 4 is in a weird spot because it's away from everything and kind of in front of a pocket. But I should not get back to the table with a clear shot here. So Matt should either run out or he should leave me safe in a spot where I cannot make the 4. It's a lot of matter of preference here. Those 3 balls go in the right side. The 12 leads to the 15, leads back to the 8, so... If the 15 goes in the lower right, I like this. I don't like leaving... Oh, that's not too bad. I don't know how close the 4 is. I want to try to get away from saying I don't like this or I would have done this differently, or you watch a lot of the old school pool announcers, Billy and Cardone, I'm calling you out here. I don't know how many times that guy said on air, I don't like this or I hate this or I don't like that, I don't like that, I wouldn't have done that. Nobody wants to hear that. He played that well in case he missed it with the tight side pocket. I didn't have a shot in the 4. The problem is I don't know if the 10 goes past the 8. If it does, this is perfect. You can almost just stop it here and play the 13 in the lower. Yeah, it looks like it does. Play a 13 in the lower left next, and then 14, 12, 15, 8. He followed up a little bit, so I think he's going at the 12 now, which is fine. I mean, there's 5 balls on the table. There's about 47 patterns you can play. Here, I kind of like just stunned, almost like a stop shot. That's good. It's hard to tell from and the commentary guys. They say it's hard to tell from their booth, and it really is hard to tell from this angle, which is the opposite of the angle that I'm sitting at, where I'm not paying attention on my phone here. Basically, just want to make sure you get an angle on every shot. That one came off a little funny. I think he was expecting it to bounce out more. So now he's going to have to play the 13. If he plays just straight top, You basically want to just aim for the cue ball to come back to the spot here. So if you can use references on the table, that's why the diamonds are there, or things like the spot, or little pieces of dirt or chalk marks or burn marks or whatever. If you can use those as guides, they kind of help. I think I learned that trick from Charivari years ago, where he said, you know, look, I have this mark from where I break a lot, and if you look to get at that mark, you can use that as a guideline on the table. Every table will have them. You don't want to, you don't want to use them as like, you know, home field advantage table kind of thing. But when you're looking around for spots to leave, you know, you want to leave more of a spot than a general area. And a lot of times, here, yeah, he came into it. I don't know if I think it goes past the 4. He should be able to hit the rail about half a diamond up on the right side here and still have it go, as long as he hits it smooth and not too hard. So this is where one of those smooth stop shots comes into play. Yeah, that was good. I'd wanted to even be a little bit smoother, and what I mean smoother, softer is probably not the right word, but more of a follow through on the stroke and a little bit more draw and a little bit less acceleration. Oh, you could tell he poked at that. If you rewind that just for that shot, he poked at it. And one thing I learned is that your follow through for, well, let's say 95% of your shots. So here, like I do 3 strokes, I pause, backswing, follow through. Your follow through should really be the same speed. Your acceleration should be the same on all your shots for 95% of it. Power draw is going to be a little bit different. Little tap, real touchy-feely things are going to be different. But for the most part, your acceleration through the ball is going to be the same speed. What's going to change it is the amount of backstroke and the amount of follow through, like how much the cue stick follows through the ball. That's what will change your speed. But your actual acceleration should be right about the same for every shot. I think we just decided to leave the rack there. I made a ball finally. Rack is not great. Looks like I'm taking the 10 ball here. Yeah. And yeah, that last game, Matt had a chance to go on the hill, being up 6-4, but instead it's 5-5 with that miss. He poked at it a little bit, just caught the points of the side pocket. My issue here is really getting on the 15. I wanted that to come up much more because I wanted the 14 on the side and then be able to play the 12 in the lower left. Instead, I got, I don't know, a diamond below it. 3/4 of a diamond, maybe. But now I think I can hit the 5 ball. If I can miss the 7 coming off of this, yeah. I tried going at it. I tried going at the, like, off the rail into the 5 and using the 9 as insurance to bust the 15 out. Slowly making this more difficult on myself. The 15 does go on the left side if I can get way over there by Matt's chalk there. I didn't like something about that, so I stood up on it. Which is good, I like to see myself doing that. And I still missed. I know what I was doing. I was trying to hold for the 9 ball. And as I was saying during our sets yesterday, the one thing I will give you advice on this table in like a fast 7-foot diamond is don't try to hold anything. And it looks like I'm making a water run. I told Matt not to miss. Not necessarily sharking him. Now here, I'd want to look at the 4 really closely to see, because the cue ball is going to naturally go into the 5. Now, granted, it could go off the top side or the bottom side of the 5 and scratch, but I'd really want to take a look at that. And I guess if you can't make it the first time, you just send the cue ball into it again. I think the 1 goes past the 11 up in the upper left. Otherwise, there's enough room on it to get on the short side, but I'm not sure how to get on the short side. So next ball here is going to be kind of key. I don't think you got anywhere except for the 1. Of course, if the 1 doesn't go, that's going to be a problem. Yeah, there was some significant spinning of the wrist there on that shot. He hit it pretty good. I don't know if it went or not. I think he's explaining to me the double kiss here. Now, if I can reach it, cutting the 11 and going right to the backside of the 15 would be good here, but it's a kind of a pretty big cut. So I'm looking at the 12. And then coming back up either for the 9 on the right side or the 11 in that corner. Depends on where I get here. Or just missing it by half a diamond and selling the game out. That still has a problem with that obvious problem with the 5. Now this is the Aramith Black set. I don't think I've mentioned this yet. The purple is the 5 ball and the pink is the 4 ball. And then for stripes, the pink is the 12 and the purple is the 13. I've had more than one person tell me that I've pocketed the wrong ball in the wrong order on this channel, and that is not correct. That was fantastic. That was the kind of angle you want. It was natural. And now he has his pick of shots here, really. I'm glad he's looking at it. It looked like he was just going to be beat it in on the 5 and not looking at anything else, but it's good that he looked at the 4. I don't know if he looked at it to see if it would go or looked at it to see where he wanted to be next. I think he was trying to come over one rail into the 7. I think the better shot would have been more of just a stun shot on the 5 and then play the 7 in the lower right here. Because now he has to cut the 7 in the left, or in the left. He has to cut the 7 in the right side and come 3 rows around to try to get on the 4. If that 4 doesn't go in the upper left past the 11, he has to come all the way over to get on the left side, or try to stop it short without getting cut off by the 8, 9, 15 to play it in the upper right, and then he has problems getting on the 8 ball. Yeah, this is dicey here. I think he chose to bank it because he wants to be able to hold the angle for playing the 4 on the upper right. That and the cut, it's probably deceiving on this. The cut might be way too thin. He banked it really well. He caught the 12 though, and I think without catching the 12, he would have been okay on the 4, but it sent the cue ball up to the left. I don't know what he can do here. I think he's realizing that too. The 11 blocks off any cross corner bank. I think it's too far to cut in the right side. I don't think he can get to this to the right of the ball to cut it in the upper right. This is almost where I'd consider a double bank, or if you want to try to get real finessey with it, play off the left side of the 4 with some lower right and try to spin the cue ball underneath the 11. Kind of like hit the rail about middle diamond and spin underneath the 11 and hope you don't sell out the straight in all the way up the table. I mean, you're obviously not giving up, you're not snookering him on a safety, but you put it where he can't make it. Other safeties are going to be tough because of where the 12 is sitting. If you can get like right middle of the table underneath the 8, but I don't see a way to get there easily. I think he tried that. I think that's exactly what he tried, but he didn't hit it hard enough, and he sold out the 12 here. But I mean, the way the cue ball was tracking, it was tracking kind of towards that 8. And the further up table you get, the harder the cut is on the 12. I don't think the 9 goes past the 15 to the upper left. So it was a good try, just didn't get enough on the cue ball. It was asking a lot of the cue ball to go around the table like that. And I almost just give back the game, but got a little bit lucky there. I mean, I was planning on the cue ball going there. It wasn't planning at scratching, but it got close. So your 15-9 just travel naturally over for the 11. Ideally, I'd like to get in line with the 11, like parallel cue ball and the 11 parallel, so that I can come out with a nice angle. And I think I did. I immediately head towards the short cue. Yeah, I got pretty good on this, and I can take this 8 ball in a number of different places. I can play for the diagonal on the lower right. I can play for a thin cut and bring it back to play on the left side, or I can try to hold it there for the right side, which is what I do here. All right, actually, I kind of made it for the diagonal. And even though I have 10 feet of room, why wouldn't I shoot the 8 ball with the short cue? Because I can. And I'm on the hill, 6-5. Race to 7 again. And there goes the cue ball. And it's funny because I know Matt racks randomly, but that 4 ball is always in that spot where it goes up and down the table. Like the last 3 or 4 breaks, it's been there. But I know it's not something he goes out of his way to do, or maybe it is. Now maybe it actually is. Jumped the cue ball off the table, didn't make anything. Can't see. Move out of the way. All right. I think I take stripes here because of where the 8 ball is, because there's 2 stripes very readily available for where the 8 is. The 4 does block this pocket down here, but you could start with like I think he's taking solids. Hey, this isn't bad either. I think he's taking solids because of the way the 4 blocks some of the balls. But I mean, if you start with like the 13 in the lower right, then go to the 12, things kind of open up from there. But again, I mean, the only issue here is you got to get in the 8 ball, and you're probably going to use the 1 for it. As Billy and Cardona said, I'm not a fan of that. I would rather not hit balls if you can avoid it. Now, granted, that one was in the middle. It moved an inch. It didn't block it from another pocket or anything like that. But if you get in the habit of not hitting balls, it's much easier to navigate. Not necessarily in this rack, but when you play hundreds of racks. Matt, I think I recommended this after this session when I watched this, but I think Muddy Extra with stop shots would be really good for you. And you want to smooth them. You don't want to power them. You don't want to no jerky motions, no poking at it. Very, very smooth strokes. See, like that one, that you could have smoothed that and just brought the cue ball drift over 2 or 3 inches over off that one. Here, a lot of people are going to play the combo, and I don't think that's right. I think what Matt's doing here is right. You play basically the left side of the 4-ball, hitting half a ball, and the cue ball should float back up, just like that. Now, the only issue here is make sure you get enough of an angle on the 6 where you can get something on the 8. But there's a huge position window. It's going to be between like the 13-10 and 14-9 there. You have that whole window to get to. It's not terrible. You don't really want to be, you're about as far away from it as possible here. Natural position is going to take the cue ball off the rail, and it looks like into the 11. The problem with that is you could get a little bit off one or another and either come underneath the 11 and scratch, or come underneath the 15 and get snookered on the 8. If you can hit it thin enough where you can come off one rail and get on the other side of the 8, that's ideal. And that's where, like, if your cue ball is on the spot here, you'd be able to stun draw it over. Let's see what he does here. I've said it before, I like that he's taking his time. I like that he's thinking things through and making sure that he's on the right line. Yeah, that was what I was afraid of. Hit it. You need to hit that one really thin so it goes to the right side of the bottom side from our view of the side pocket. And that way you try to come above the 11 or into it. Instead, you hit center pocket, which it's not bad that you hit center pocket because you aimed it well, but the problem is there the cue ball is. Let's try not to foul here while I'm moving the cue ball around. Now here, there's a number of ways to play this. If you want to play more of a safety game, you do not take this shot first. In fact, you do not take the shot at all, but I want to run out from here. So I'm just doing a little bit to try to break out the 11, and I almost screwed it up. In fact, another half inch to the left with the cue ball and I would have been in a lot of trouble. As it is, this is a really nervy shot and I'm leaving it wide open. If I miss this, you guys have seen what the side pockets are like. If I miss this, the 8's just right there, but I happen to make it. Hit it at a good speed, so it just kind of hit the far side of the side pocket and fell in. And now I have a harder shot. I should take one to make sure I leave the cue ball safe. So if I take the 12 here and I miss, the cue ball is going to come one rail kind of under the 14, maybe even under the 13. Or just leave the best shot on the 8 ball possible from that distance. But I made it, so I'm okay. I think I would have liked taking the 10 there, and then the natural path of the cue ball is going to come over to the bottom left in case I miss. I don't sell out the game here. But in the heat of the moment when you're shooting, you're not thinking about missing. You're thinking about how can I make all these balls. And here, that almost got really, really bad. Now, granted, I think I left it safe, so if I would have missed, but if I wouldn't hit the 10, there was a really good chance of scratching there. Now I have a tough shot. I have to take the 10 on the side. Kind of just, I don't know what I'm doing with the cue ball here. Okay, I'm running it. And that actually worked out well. If I would have missed there, it would have been safe behind the 9. Now, granted, it's a fairly easy hit, so it's not like I'm selling out the game, but I may not get back to the table in a better position if I miss that. Here, I think I'm left myself straight in because that's what I'm good at. So I have to figure out a way to. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to follow this with upper right, spin it out 2 rails out of the corner. And I decelerated on the stroke, so I didn't get all the follow. And because of that, I hit the point. I left myself just about the worst spot on the table for this 8 ball. And there's no real safe here. I'm just going to go all out, try to cut it in the upper left. Hopefully I don't scratch in the right side. And I nailed it. And take the set 7-5. Get the score up here. And Matt's in the way. Okay. Well, so there it is. That's the 8-ball set. I decided to give more pressure. So the races of 9 were taking about an hour or so, and I thought those were too long. This video, of course, and it was over an hour. Race to 7, but I thought there was some good play in there. No break and runs. Matt did have a run off a dry break. I had a run off of something else. I think it was a couple misses off a dry break. Yeah, this was set number 1. Stay tuned. Set number 2 is in a separate video coming up. It is going to be 9-ball. See you, and until then.